brilliant third quarter and a really tough fourth quarter. Can you discuss what sort of
self-inflicted
went well
wounds.
and went badly?
Yeah, self-inflicted wounds. First down, I missed a throw to Dell. I just kind of babied a little one where I kind of escaped out of the pocket. Felt them being boundary pressure, and so I kind of just got out of there just in case, wanted to avoid a sack fumble there, and just kind of babied the throw. And then we were kind of self-inflicted wounds from there. Fumble, couple little things happening here and there, but it's obviously early in the season, and we've got to understand that these are full 60-minute football games, and the CFL, it's never over. But I'm never going to apologize for winning. We're 1-0, and it's tough to win in this league. And our defense stepped up. Our specials did a great job. We had a great third quarter. We're moving the football, but fourth quarter just self-inflicted wounds, and those are things that we can get better at. They're fixable things. It's not one of those things where we're looking around going, shoot, we just don't have guys that can make plays. We're gonna be all right.
Trevor, what can you just say of the next man up mentality from this group when you have so many guys go down, key contributors early, and just the availability being the best ability for this team?
Yeah. It's something that you never take lightly, and that comes down to culture. It comes down to culture, and what's it look, act, and feel like in our room every day, and it looks, acts, and feels like focus, and guys that are behind one another, and guys that are really rallying behind one another. I mean, it's not like we had small pieces go down either. I mean, talking one of the best receivers in the CFL, who should have been in the top 50. You're talking about A.J. Ouellette, maybe one of the best running backs in the league. You're talking about an O-lineman, a left tackle we're really, really high on, and he's filling in for people, and so we're kind of depth-wise, it's one of those things where you're kind of scraping the barrel at the roster at this point, because we only had 6 guys dressed, and so it's like one other guy goes down, and you guys know who comes in, right? And Micah, and so it's never ideal, but it's always great to see guys come in and step up and be ready to play, and we didn't have a single person flinch.
So I know you talked about this with us earlier this week, about how last year being prepared, going through that many offensive linemen. Is that kind of just water off a duck's back when you're seeing that in game 1 of 2025?
It's the worst part of football is injuries, right? And when you hear, grown man down there, knowing something had happened, it's rough, because, this is, a lot of guys' livelihoods, and it stinks. And so, but, you turn your focus to the next thing, and then after the game you kind of check on your teammates and stuff. It's one of those things that's really difficult, but like I said, it just comes down to culture, and Corey Mace, J.O., Mark Mueller, they've just done a great job of setting what it looks like. Kyle Carson, Larry Dean, all these guys, right? So, and we're just kind of falling through.
Trevor, that first couple drives you guys had, was that just because you guys didn't play in that second preseason game? Even the hold was off on a field goal attempt there, Brett had to kick it and everything, and you guys really settled in from there?
Yeah, first drive was miscommunication with Shafe, and I got back to whatever read it was in the progression pretty quickly, and I thought he was going to take it high and over the top, but he ended up crossing face. It was just a little miscommunication, and next drive, just had some little things happen, right? And those are things that you iron out. Those are things that the great football teams don't let fester and let become big mistakes, and we were able to kind of trudge forward and have a great second and third quarter, and I don't think we were stopped. And then fourth quarter, we obviously had some self-inflicted wounds. Give them credit. They're a good defense. They did a good job of making it tough on us and trying to take some things away. And but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where we can go into the film session, see what happened, make sure that we're correcting those little things, and understanding that those are big moments for us to make sure we put the pedal to the metal.
Trevor, just talk about this offensive line again. Only Jamarcus Hardrick is in a spot from training camp. Daniel Johnson has to come in for Peyton Collins, and 0 sacks given up. Just what is it about this group these past couple of years that they've been able to weather everything thrown at them?
Yeah, we know we're all in this together, and they talk about there's 12 guys and even 13 that protect the quarterback, and we're all a part of it. Receivers sight adjusting. There's myself getting the ball out and understanding when to get rid of the football, and avoiding those things. And that's all we heard about all week was depleted O-line, gonna get feasted on. And obviously they're a great defensive line. Please don't misconstrue that quote. They have good football players. Bryce Carter, Lorenzo Malden, Michael Wakefield, Cleon Lang. Those are good football players. But just really proud of the bunch up front, proud of the receivers and running backs for handling some tough stuff.
Trevor, how would you describe the importance or significance of winning the first one and setting a tone in that regard?
Yeah, obviously we're going to be a different team, when it comes to, week 15 and playoff time and Labor Day, and, we're going to be improved from where we are right now. But make no mistake, these wins matter at the end of the year. And, so win is a win, and we'll take it. It's 2 points in the win column for us, and obviously it's one of those things where, winning and losing can become habits, and we want to make sure that we have a habit of putting the pedal to the metal, and that's the lesson here. I think that we controlled the football game, but we kind of just let up a little bit later, and we've got to make sure that we have that killer instinct and kind of Mamba mentality per se.
What are your thoughts on how Bertrand Boudon and Sam Emilus played?
Oh, they were just awful. I just didn't think they'd play. Yeah, no, Sam Emilus is an animal. The fact that he was off the top 50 is absolutely insane. The guy dogs people in run game. He's really good after the catch. He catches everything. He's got vice grips for hands. And then Thomas is just one of those guys where nobody knows how good of a football player he is because he's behind AJ Ouellette. He's been behind some big time players, and whenever he gets an opportunity, he comes in, he breaks tackles, he falls forward. He has some big plays. He had a big one called back tonight, and those are just unfortunate situations for him. But we know that we can kind of lean into Thomas, and he showed that tonight. He was getting us to second medium, and unfortunately we weren't able to kind of stay on the field for a number of reasons. But he did a great job for us tonight, and he's a guy that when he's in there, you don't ever flinch. I never thought anything. Never thought twice.
Trevor, what can you say about your defense having to watch them basically close it out in the fourth quarter, and you not having to then go engineer a comeback drive after that? But again, Thurman, Carney, a couple of big sacks.
Yeah. And eventually those zone pressures and the pressures and our D-line could kind of just pin their ears back and make some plays, and just unfortunately we weren't able to kind of keep the pedal to the metal, and when we scored, they scored in the third quarter, sort of a situation, and then we were holding, when we held, they held, and so it was one of those things where we've got to make sure that we come through for our defense in the fourth quarter, but they came through for us, and that's what team football is all about. It's three-phase football. Special teams making sure we're getting field position, defense understanding. When they don't come through and score, we've got to make sure that we're doing our part, and but the best teams are able to put three phases of football together, and that's what we're aiming towards, and that's what we'll get to.